Tonight, the Auditor General speaks. She discusses the timeline for her Ministry of Defense audit and explains why we won't see it when she releases it. Plus, she talks about her San Joaquin roots in Corozal Southeast. That's the same constituency and home village of the former Minister of Defense, who she's now investigating. So, is it a conflict? You'll hear her response. Also, a senior official representing Belize caught up in a domestic dispute in Canada. We'll tell you about the many trials of Kennedy Carrillo. And public drinking, it's a real public nuisance, but the fine is only $25. You'll hear why the City Council wants to raise it. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Thursday, July 30th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Look here, your kitchen light, Diana, you been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep my coffee warm for later.
Where did you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know the more you open and close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You the charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Electronic invoicing, e-invoicing, is bringing a secure digital upgrade to GST-registered businesses in Belize. Here is how the process works. Your business generates an electronic tax document, ETD, like your everyday invoice or receipt electronically. The ETD is securely transmitted to the Belize Tax Service through Vertex Belize, the national digital platform for e-invoicing. The Belize Tax Service validates it instantly and returns the verified ETD to your business, ready to share with your customer, all in seconds. There are 3 ways to get started. Connect your existing accounting software to Vertex Belize, work with a local or international solution provider, or access the free web-based tool to be provided by the Belize Tax Service. Getting started is flexible. For more information, contact the Belize Tax Service at 613-2508 or email etdinfo@bts.gov.bz. Electronic invoicing, simplifying tax compliance through digital innovation.
BTB Accommodations License Renewal 2026 opens August 1st through the online portal. BTB is also having its license renewal clinic countrywide, starting August 10th in Corozal, then in Orange Walk, Key Cocker, San Pedro, Hopkins, Placencia, Toledo, Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. Remember, to successfully process your renewal at the clinic, managers with portal access must bring updated electronic copies of renewal requirements. Licenses will be ready the same day at the clinic. Accommodations operating beyond October 31st, 2026 without successfully completing the renewal process will receive a violation ticket. Operating without a valid license commits an offense. For more information, please contact our compliance officers at 227-2420 extension #247. Email hotels@belizetourismboard.org or WhatsApp us at 635-3688. Renew your BTB accommodation license through the online portal starting August 1st, 2026, or look out for the renewal clinic near you.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lose a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helped supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Are you looking for financing on equipment, machinery, vehicles, parts, or tools for you or your business? Banquip and Belize Bank have partnered to make purchasing easier than ever with Belize Bank's convenient online loan application platform. Simply apply online, get fast and secure financing, and access the equipment or vehicle you need to keep moving forward. Even better, use the promo code when applying and enjoy a special promotional interest rate exclusively for Banquip customers. Whether you're upgrading your fleet, investing in new machinery, or purchasing essential parts and equipment, now is the perfect time to make it happen. Visit Banquip today and ask about Belize Bank online loan financing.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Ask any politician from the ruling party what happened at the Ministry of Defense with all the self-dealing and insider contracts, and he or she will quickly spout the party line the Auditor General is investigating. It's a convenient cop-out for all politicians cornered by publicly held evidence of questionable contracts awarded to friends and family. But what really is the Auditor General investigating? We spoke to her today in Roaring Creek, and she explained that the priority area is the alleged conflict of interest.
So for clarity, the BDF audit had already been part of our annual plan. It was scheduled for September. However, due to public outcry, we have moved it to begin as recent as You mentioned the date when Prime Minister had announced it. We are at the execution phase. We are gathering evidence. We have met with the Ministry of Defense personnel to gather all the documentation that they have available. We have also obtained documentation from other entities such as Contractor General and the Belize Companies Registry, and I must thank them for their support with the audit. But we are still at the execution phase. We're trying to work on priority areas, which are the alleged conflict of interest, and then provide a bigger audit report to the Ministry of Defense.
Do you all think that you will need more than the 3 months, like an extension?
If we focus on the priority areas, we can meet, for decision-making purposes, we can meet the deadline for the alleged conflict of interest. But to provide an overall overview for the entire ministry, we definitely will need more time. But we need to work on those priority areas because decision-making has to happen very soon.
But is that already tight timeline complicated by the fact that the Prime Minister has pulled back the time frame for the audit to 2015? His hope is to muddy the water with the sins of the UDP. But how does it complicate the timeline? Well, that's what we asked Rodriguez.
Recently at a PUP party event, the Prime Minister said that the audit would be going back as far as 2015. Is that accurate? And how much does this complicate your work and intensify the timeline, especially with what you just mentioned?
Well, it's a lot of records, a huge volume of records. I think we have received about 13 to 15 boxes just for the initial scope that we decided to audit. We will focus on the 15-16. However, I did inform that my priority is to find out what happened with the alleged conflict of interest, provide those reports to make sure that proper decision-making is done by this administration.
Do you think that going back as far back into 2015, that it will somewhat come across as trying to water down the situation?
Well, I don't know what's the purpose of what's their intent, but we surely have an objective of the audit, and is to make sure that all regulations are followed regarding procurement, regardless of the fiscal year.
She said she doesn't know the intent, but is it that Belize's supreme audit institution is being instrumentalized by the political directorate? The leader of the opposition in a recent statement said, quote, "It is particularly concerning that the Prime Minister found it necessary to publicly instruct the Office of the Auditor General to conduct an audit into the Mira family-related contracts. That raises serious red flags for transparency, accountability, and the independence of our oversight institutions," end quote. Today, she told us that they were going to audit the Ministry of Defense regardless.
The leader of the opposition had said that the Office of the Auditor General is constitutionally enshrined and that you are free to act on your own instinct and volition if you choose. But it seems to her that you are acting at the instruction of the Cabinet Executive. What would you respond to her saying?
As mentioned earlier, regarding the defense audit, it was already in our audit plan. Nobody had to tell me that I have to go in. It was already part of our audit plan. I don't act on instructions from anyone. I believe that public outcry was more than enough for our office to know that we need to come in. So no, I don't believe I act on instructions of anyone. No cabinet. In fact, I can tell you that nobody has called me from the cabinet to ask me about this audit or to ask me anything about it or to even go through it. It was a request from the financial secretary.
But while she promises an objective audit, can the integrity of the audit be undermined by incomplete documentation? In the past, we have heard the Auditor General testify at Public Accounts Committee hearings that there is a shocking lack of proper record keeping in the public service. So, how will that affect this audit where there were thousands of sub-$10,000 transactions?
And so when you testified before the Joint Public Accounts Committee, you referred to an absence of source documents transactions. Is it a chronic problem, and has your team been encountering this problem so far in this audit?
In this audit, yes. I think in every audit, we will find some document missing, some document not available. But it has been a chronic issue, not only for the Ministry of Defense, for almost all the ministries that we've been. Nobody has been paying attention to records management. And we have highlighted this even for the Accountant General's Department, who should have all custody of all records. No, so yeah, it's not a difficult situation now because we have ways of conducting our audit and finding records, and that's why I mentioned earlier other entities that can provide us with information.
Do you think that some of these missing documents, like it was intentional that they're missing, or?
I don't believe so. I think that it is a systematic issue in every ministry. We just don't care about records. Nobody expects audit to come, and when audit comes, that's when they get shocked. Oh, we need the records, you know. So it's basically a systematic problem for the entire public service.
And while that systemic problem is pervasive, there is another issue sitting right in the Auditor General Rodriguez's own backyard. Her roots are in San Joaquin Village, the heart of Corozal Southeast, and that happens to be the exact constituency represented by former Minister of Defense Florencio Marin, whose tenure she is now auditing. To make matters tighter, two of the top BDF ration suppliers that popped up after 2020, Kukulkan and A&Y Fresh Vegetables, are both headquartered right there in Corozal Southeast. So we asked her about that appearance of political proximity.
Regarding my constituency, it's not my fault that I was born in that village. I don't believe anybody can come out outright and say, oh, because I'm from this village, I have to be this political party, right? So that misconception, and I'm glad you asked because I would like to clarify that I have not lived in that village. I go there to visit my family, my beautiful family. I go there to visit my family. So it's enshrined in me to be there. But my work is in Belmopan. So where I vote, I don't think should be anybody's business. I choose where to vote.
And do you feel like intimidated in any way, knowing that this is where you come from, this is where you vote, and this is what's happening?
None at all. I don't believe anyone can intimidate me at this point. I think others are intimidated, and that is why the talking is out there.
And while he might not be able to intimidate her, her area representative sure did heap lavish praise his San Joaquinena homegirl when her nomination was debated in the House of Representatives in February of 2025. He said at the time he wishes she were his family.
I happen to know the family and very well. I know the people in my division. I've tried my best to meet all of them as possible, and I believe that is what has helped me to be successful. But Madam Speaker, I mean, one cannot help but feel that some of these attacks were just personal. I don't know if I could even say maybe some of it was a little bit misogynistic. But what I can tell you is that in the Corozal Southeast Division, there are very strong women in the Corozal Southeast Division, and wherever they go and they work, they always do a very good and very thorough job, and Mrs. Rodriguez is definitely going to make a good example in that office that she's going to now hold. First of all, Ms. Rodriguez is not my family, all right? And actually, I kind of wish she was, because I do know her. I do know the work ethic that she has, and I know the family she come from. They come from humble cane farmers' roots. They work very hard, get up 4:30 in the morning, go to the cane fields and work, all right? So I know this lady put herself through school. She's done a lot of sacrifices to get where she is, and rather than try to soil her reputation or anything like that, I believe we should be totally proud for this country that we now have a totally qualified person who have a very strong character and will do a very good job as the Auditor General, Madam Speaker. And her qualifications are real. They're not honorary doctorates.
During that meeting, Marin rose twice to praise Rodriguez, one time on a point of order and the other as part of the debate. We'll take a break now. When we come back, a senior official representing Belize abroad caught up in a domestic dispute in Canada. We'll tell you about the trials of Kennedy Carrillo. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Are you looking for financing on equipment, machinery, vehicles, parts, or tools for you or your business? Benquip and Belize Bank have partnered to make purchasing easier than ever with Belize Bank's convenient online loan application platform. Simply apply online, get fast and secure financing, and access the equipment or vehicle you need to keep moving forward. Even better, use the promo code when applying and enjoy a special promotional interest rate exclusively for Benquip customers. Whether you're upgrading your fleet, investing in new machinery, or purchasing essential parts and equipment, now is the perfect time to make it happen. Visit Benquip today and ask about Belize Bank online loan financing.
Rev up your engines at Puma Energy and get ready for an exciting chance to fuel, fill, and win. For every $30 purchase on fuel, a liter of lubricant, or $10 at Super 7, get a ticket to win one of 20 fuel prizes of $1,000. And here's the thrill. Fill up with premium Clean Tech Pro and double your chances of winning. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Head to Puma Energy and Super 7 today for your chance to fuel, fill, and win.
Belize is calling for change, and the future is in her hands. Meet our 4 incredible delegates competing for the crown of Miss Earth Belize 2026. Join us for the national pageant on August 8, 2026 at the Belize City Civic Center. Tickets, general admission $10, VIP $100, and ultra VIP tables $1,000. Seating for 5, wine and charcuterie included.
Tickets will be available for purchase at all Paint Boutique locations, Onyx Beauty Lounge, and Medisco.
Be a part of the movement. Beauty for a cause. Miss Earth Belize 2026.
Nokche Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have like the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Calling. Double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries. cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
If you're tired of the baking in your house with the only Cocoa Wawa fan and finally realize that the time to get yourself a good, durable, reliable fan, contact Myers Panel website or social media. Myers going to hook you up with one of their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan where might could even change your life as it keep you cool in this hot Belizean weather. Yes man, because their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers not just could blow your lip back way, they might could blow away your mind if you say blow away the toxic konomono out of your life and the bad vibes out of your house. Order your 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Myers website or on their social media, and Myers going to ship out your fan anywhere countrywide ASAP. Not believe me? Visit myerselectronics.bz right now to order your fan today.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
A senior official representing Belize in Canada is tonight caught in the middle of a domestic incident that's quickly becoming a diplomatic embarrassment. Kennedy Carrillo, Belize's state representative to the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, is at the center of a Canadian investigation following allegations of a domestic dispute with her partner. 7 News learned yesterday that police in Montreal responded to a domestic dispute where Carrillo was identified as the alleged aggressor. That triggered contact with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Belize because Carrillo has some level of diplomatic immunity. In a statement issued today, the Foreign Ministry confirmed that it received diplomatic requests from the Embassy of Canada in Guatemala seeking a limited waiver of Carrillo's diplomatic immunity to allow Canadian authorities to proceed with their investigation. The ministry said it carefully reviewed the request before granting the limited waiver through a diplomatic note, while also conducting checks to ensure the safety and security of all parties involved. A statement emphasizes that the ministry will continue to cooperate fully with Canadian authorities as the investigation progresses. Carrillo, a former CEO in the Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, has served as Belize's permanent representative to the ICAO Council since 2025. A violent domestic dispute that occurred in Punta Gorda on Tuesday has left a woman hospitalized with multiple stab wounds, but she's lucky to be alive. Police received a call from the hospital on Tuesday night where they met 39-year-old Marva Trapp suffering from 5 different stabbing injuries. She told police that her ex-common law husband, Mario Norales, had entered her home under the influence of alcohol and threatened to kill her and cut her throat. Norales then allegedly withdrew a knife from his pocket and grabbed her, resulting in a struggle that caused her injuries. No charges have been levied as yet. Norales reportedly violated a restraining order when he went to her house. 3 years after he was charged with the murder of his friend, 22-year-old Bevan Curtis Alford has been acquitted after the High Court found the prosecution failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Justice Nigel Pilgrim today found Alford not guilty of the March 5, 2023 murder of 21-year-old Freddie Chicas, whose partially decomposed body was found 5 days later near mile 7 on the George Price Highway. Chicas had been shot once in the head. The Crown's case relied primarily on a series of alleged confessions made by Alford, including statements to police, a BDF soldier, and his then mother-in-law through Facebook Messenger. However, Justice Pilgrim ruled that while he accepted Alford made the statements, he could not be satisfied they were truthful or reliable because of Alford's mental state. We spoke with his attorney Norman Moore as well as Alford outside of court today.
There were certain alleged admissions that my client supposedly said. The issue was that at the time when he made those admissions, or the alleged admissions, the court could not determine whether or not those admissions were actually true, right? So that is what they were saying. And the reason why they couldn't determine that is because of his mental history that we had submitted in with the expert medical reports. And also with those certain alleged admissions that my client did do or did say, there was medical evidence that the prosecution gave, which completely, what I would say, dispel any of those admissions that my client did say. Right. So again, coupled with both medical expert reports combined, actually gave the basis for, I would say, that acquittal in court today.
Can you speak about these admittance?
I honestly wouldn't want to venture into that because it has been proven now in court that those admittance were not true.
Okay. How about the history, the medical history that the doctor?
Well, it was a clinical, mental medical assessment that was done on my client, right? Because he had a history of, I'd say like suicidal and substance abuse. And that actually played a role in this whole verdict that came out. Right?
So what next from this client?
Well, my client gets to go home now. And actually, he had just made a phone call to his mother. And I mean, they're both excited. He gets to go home. He gets to go back to his mom, see his mom after 3 years of being incarcerated. And yeah.
I head back to school, continue my education, let's spread smaller
Okay.
circle a bit.
So do you think that your present state allowed the confusion in your words to police when you were detained?
To be real, and I got nothing else to say.
Justice Pilgrim concluded that while the evidence raised suspicion, it did not establish Alford's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, resulting in his acquittal for the murder of Freddie Chicas. The killing remains unsolved. The Intoxicating Liquor Licensing Act is currently undergoing nationwide public consultation with a focus to modernize the act and gather recommendations and concerns from licensing holders. On Tuesday night, the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development and Local Government held a public consultation session on the Liquor Licensing Reform Initiative at the Government House. The consultation saw a high turnout of Belize City residents and business owners. The Director of Local Government gave an overview of the reform initiative.
And so the government decided through our ministry, which is the Ministry of Rural Transformation and Local Government, that determined that strategically it needs to address liquor licensing reform in Belize. And for several reasons. Mayor highlighted several of them. If you're in a rural area, you're paying a different fee for your license. There are 13 categories of licenses, and many of you don't even know 3 of them. We have things we call like malt and cider, and nobody really applies for a malt and cider anymore except save a few. Beer license, convenience store license, vessel license, members license, public and special, nightclub, and then we don't know the difference between public and special and nightclub because they operate the same. Bars and nightclubs operate just that one have to close 12 and one close 2 a.m. But they operate the same, right, Mr. Troy? They play loud music, people they dance, karaoke, action there. So we really need to address it. When we talk about the governance and licensing system, this is a consultation for Belize District, but most of the persons who are in there are Belize citizen persons. And the people in the rural area, in Lawrence Macleanville, Hattonville, they will tell you that there is a board for Belize District, but alone people from Belize sitting on the board. Except there's a DAFCO representative. And they're saying that the issues that we deal with in the rural areas are different than the issues we deal with in the city. And so they want proper representation. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the things we want to ask you to hone in on as we talk about this reform tonight. And we're hoping to achieve 7 objectives when we come to the end of the consultation and we make the strong recommendations to Cabinet about what the law should look like, the new law.
In related news, a decision by the National Forensic Science Service to halt testing on open alcohol containers for minor public drinking charges has raised significant concerns among local law enforcement and the Belize City Council. In an official memorandum dated July 29th, Executive Director Gian Cho announced that effective October 1st, the laboratory will permanently suspend its qualitative analysis of ethanol service. The service, most frequently requested by police and municipal officers pursuing charges for public drinking or being found drunk, involves testing to prove the alcohol content of seized beer or liquor bottles. While the NFSS views the suspension as a vital move to streamline operations, reduce case block logs, and pursue international accreditation, local authorities worry the decision creates practical and financial hurdles for municipal enforcement and court convictions. In a memorandum, Director Cha outlined a clear case for phasing out the testing, citing severe operational bottlenecks. The laboratory's limited team of forensic chemists currently processes over 700 drug cases annually, and spending time on minor public drinking offenses threatens to delay major drug cases to the point of dismissal. Furthermore, running chemical analysis on a $200,000 instrument that relies on costly imported parts to secure a conviction with a maximum fine of just $25 offers virtually no return on investment. The NFSS emphasized that the same specialized equipment and analysis are urgently needed for higher priority cases. The low cost of a fine is what Jermaine Hyde, the city's courts manager, discussed at a town meeting on Tuesday night.
And I just want to share, I know it has been mentioned several times in public drinking. Just want to show you in terms of what it costs. Whenever somebody is found guilty of public drinking at the court, the fine is $25 plus $5 cost of court. Now I'll tell you this, when our officers charge somebody for public drinking, the test, because we have to test what we take from them, the sample. The test to get that done at the lab in Belmopan in Ladyville is $150. We're already operating at a loss. To get the sample from Belize City to the lab in Ladyville costs for us to transport it to Ladyville. So when we look at all these expenses and we look at what the fine is, it doesn't balance. And so when the legislation came into reality years ago, $25 was a lot of money. But now when you look at the cost of actually getting a successful prosecution at the court, we're over $200, $250, 10 times more than what the actual fine is. So we really, really need to have legislation that is current, that is modern, that will allow for us to have compliance.
As an alternative, Director Cha suggested that police and municipal agencies forward testing requests to the Hummingbird Analytical Laboratory at the University of Belize, proposing that offender fines could help offset third-party testing fees. Earlier this year, we told you that the Toledo Alcalde Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance wrote to the CCJ to get clarifications on the 2015 consent order. Well, today, that appeal application was dismissed by the CCJ. The judges explained that they do not wish to intervene in the process at this point and ordered them to work with GOB. Here is a snippet of that hearing.
The court is satisfied that the core elements of implementation have taken root and that the supervisory role of the CCJ has achieved its purpose. Implementation will, of course, remain an ongoing task, belonging now to Belize's institutions and communities, guided by the mechanisms that have been established. The rights affirmed in 2015 are not museum pieces, but are tools for dignity, development, and peaceful coexistence. The precise scope and extent of Maya customary land tenure will therefore necessarily remain inchoate and uncertain until authoritatively identified and codified by the laws of Belize. We think that that process is now underway and that it should be given every allowance to complete its journey. We therefore do not think that we ought to intervene at this point in the way asked for by the appellants, applicants, and instead would encourage the parties to continue the process towards the culmination of the product that we have all looked for so very long. As my brother Justice Jamada indicated, if at the end of the process, parties are not content with the final product, then there are other routes by which that product can be challenged.
Godfrey Smith and Leslie Mendez represented TAA, MLA, and Andrew Marshallek and Samantha Matute represented the government. As you saw earlier, we interviewed the Auditor General today. We found her at an event at the Roaring River Golf Course where her office unveiled a proposal for Cabinet which would allow them to release audit reports independently. Here's the story.
The Office of the Auditor General is seeking legislative changes that would allow it to publish audit reports without waiting on delayed government financial statements. A move officials say is critical to clearing a backlog of audits stretching back 7 years. The proposal was presented today during a workshop titled Independence Beyond Legal Framework, hosted by the Office of the Auditor General in collaboration with Intisai Development Initiative. The session focused on strengthening the independence of Belize's supreme audit institution and improving accountability through legislative reform. Auditor General Maria Rodriguez told us that her office is preparing a cabinet paper outlining reforms that would allow audit reports to be released independently of the government's annual financial statements.
We are presenting to my management team a proposal, a cabinet paper that we would like to submit to the cabinet secretary and the entire cabinet regarding our work and how we can move forward with all the backlog audits that are on. And to further explain the reason we have not been able to submit annual reports is because we have not received financial statements for the last, I will say 7 to 8 years. The last one that we received was 2017-2018. And so our work depends on the submission of the annual statements for us to compile an annual report that completes the part B of that report with an opinion and a compilation of all the audits that we did for that fiscal year. So I want to move from that. I want to be able to publish my work without waiting for an annual statement.
Supporting the initiative is Benjamin Fuentes, a consultant with the Intisai Development Initiative, who stressed that an independent auditor is fundamental to a country's accountability framework.
We think that the independence of a supreme institution is a relevant element within the accountability system of a country. And in the paper, we are highlighting the relevance of supporting the independence of the Office of the Auditor General of Belize, trying to identify mechanisms that can strengthen the interaction between the office and the legislative.
Can you talk to us about why it's so important for an external auditor to come in and help establish this bill?
Well, we are supporting the Office of the Auditor General to identify elements that should be part of this strategy to strengthen their independence, because we consider that independence is a fundamental requirement for a supreme institution to generate value and benefits to society and to the accountability system in the country.
Once presented, the paper will be submitted for Cabinet's approval. Jaliza Roberts, 7 News.
And with that, they hope it will also address the backlog at the department, one that goes as far back as 7 years. She told us that she hopes that they will come up to date by 2028, but that deadline in itself is not possible unless the legislation is changed.
It's not the auditing, it's the accounting. So first of all, before audit can come in, accounting has to happen. So the accounting has not been happening timely, and so that has been the delay. It has been, it's a duty according to the FARA Section 15 that the Accountant General should submit annual statements to the Auditor General. That has not been forthcoming. We did create a timeline between the Accountant General and myself, and we had expected to be up to date by 2029. I'm not sure if we're going to meet that deadline because I depend on her submission.
And Rodriguez believes that the Office of the Auditor General is indeed underfunded to execute all the work they must do.
No, I don't think anybody will be able to say that their budget is sufficient, especially for my office. I need more staff. I need more finance. I need a lot of things. But we have a committed staff. We have a staff that can work around it. And so we try our best to work around what we receive. But we do have the opportunity to request for reallocations if need so.
During this audit, have you all had to bring in like any, someone would say like private auditors or anyone extra staff just to try to get it done to meet the timeline?
No, we don't need that. We were very capable of doing what we were entrusted to do. So, no.
And while she has the human resource, the Auditor General says that in the year and a half since she was appointed, she has come to realize that the work of her office is more necessary than ever.
You know, I have always believed that during my entire career, I've believed that accountability is important, and we have always fought for that at the office. So when I took over, I had high expectations. I must say that I started with high expectations, but slowly we are realizing that the work of the office is even more necessary than ever. So 1.5 years, 3 annual audit reports, I think my work speaks for itself. And presenting a cabinet paper where I want my work to the public, given to the public at the time that I prepare it, I think speaks volumes as well.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, with all the crimes we see against women and children, is the Office of the Special Envoy too quiet on these matters? Hear Rosanna Brisenia's response after the break. Don't go.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Today, the National Women's Commission, along with the Mexican Embassy, hosted a presentation and discussion on Mexico's feminist foreign policy. The presentation was delivered by the Mexican ambassador to Belize, Ana Luis Vallejo Barba, and highlighted how feminist foreign policy can advance gender equality and the meaningful participation of women in leadership. Following the discussion, we spoke with Ambassador Barba.
Of course, we want to work in transactional, intersectional topic. The gender has to be everywhere in every topic, and that's the way that we are proposing to talk about trade, and we talk about women in trade, peace or conflict. We talk about the involvement of women in all those areas. And I think it's very important to be aware that we are more than half of the population of the world, and we need to be really talking about us and the role that we are playing. Well, in practice, as I said in the presentation, we have been working in quotas, special quotas for women, Mexican women, getting into the career, the foreign policy career. And also in every step of the career, we are getting more spaces for women. In the highest levels, we are trying also to get some kind of equality, because the difference is huge. It's one of the main objectives to get some better numbers on that.
I think it's very important at this point, because Belize has done a lot of work when it comes to including women, working against violence, eliminating domestic violence. So with a foreign policy that Mexico already has in place for feminism, that's a whole next level that I know that we are ready for that. I believe that we are. Yes, we need to put everything in place, but I honestly feel that Belize is ready for that. I think we've been doing a lot of that. It's just not in paper. It's just not in policy. But I think that's why the Women's Commission is working on policies, because that's what they're supposed to be doing. Putting policy in place, advocating for policy. But a lot of the things like being inclusive, opening up Parliament, for example, we're at 12.5. We still have a way to go. Mexico has 18.5%, I believe. But that's a big gap. But we're in there. We're stepping in there. We're making ourselves known. It's not that we're not. I hate to use the word fighting, but we have to push ourselves in there, and we are making strides. So, can we do more? Yes, we can.
And the special envoy is passionate about using her office to protect women and children. She told us today she's not afraid of calling out perpetrators when necessary. But her office has been notably silent on numerous issues arising from violence against women and children. So we asked her about that.
I have a voice. And if I don't use my voice for advocacy, then it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I've thought about it over and over and over. And I'm very careful when I ruffle feathers, because it can go any way. And people take it anyway. It's damn if you do and damn if you don't. I don't know if I can say that, but I already did in this country. But if you don't say, it's something that people say, well, she's just there. When I do say, and when I do ruffle feathers, it's because I think it's important. And I feel that people need to know that they will be called out. People need to know that you are being watched, that they need to do what they are supposed to be doing. And I'm not afraid to use my voice for that. If it will save a child, if it will save a woman, if it will save a journalist, give her her place, and then I have to do that. When I'm not here anymore, it's up to whoever else. But in the meantime, I will continue to ruffle feathers.
What would you say to the criticism, though, that your office is silent on certain cases, like when we saw an uptick in violence against women that month when we had all those femicides, we have violence against children, and no, not even a press release from your office.
But you know what? I can't be hollering and screaming all the time. You have to pick your battles. And when the Ministry of Human Development or the National Women's Commission send out a release, we're all a part of that. I decide in my office when I feel it's not being heard or it's just too much of a technical release, that something more needs to be said. In consultation, I send out a release. But I can't be sending out releases just to send out releases because they become very meaningless. And it has to be impactful.
As we told you last night, FIFA has floated a proposal to sell stakes in its tournaments to private investors. FIFA wants to set up a new private entity named the FIFA Forward Enterprise to manage the commercial operations of its flagship events, including the World Cup. As part of the plans, FIFA announced it was looking to sell a 21% minority stake in FFE to outside investors. Well, it's being roundly rejected. After meetings today, CONCACAF's 41 members, which includes the Belize Football Federation, rejected the proposal. The statement says, quote, the membership expressed deep concerns about the lack of due process surrounding the proposal, the artificially short deadline imposed, and the absence of any review or approval by the relevant FIFA governance bodies. In addition, the need for private equity investment to fund new and existing FIFA Forward programs following the most profitable FIFA World Cup in history was questioned. With that, CONCACAF and its 41 member associations have rejected the proposal and tasked FIFA council members with instructing the FIFA president to ensure that any matter follows the proper governance processes in accordance with the FIFA statutes. When we spoke to the Minister of Immigration last week, Friday, about the first transferee that was sent to Belize under the Safe Third Country Agreement, he told us our first asylum seeker came in from Haiti. Today, a release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that a total of 8 individuals were transferred under Belize's Safe Third Country Agreement with the United States. The release states, quote, before the transfers took place, national authorities completed all required reviews and clearances through established national and international mechanisms consistent with Belize's due diligence process. With a focus to introduce eco-friendly alternatives for artisan manufacturing within coastal communities, the Ministry of Agriculture, in partnership with the Embassy of Taiwan, held a specialized training workshop in Hopkins, teaching women how to cure fish skin for sustainable leather production. The training is being led by a Honduran designer, a representative of the Central American Agricultural Council, who works and creates designer wear from the fish skin material. Here are the highlights from the training.
Well, this is in collaboration with the Taiwanese Embassy and in touch base with the Ministry of Agriculture for partnership. And they were attracting the ladies from the coast of the country. I was wondering why they want the lady from the coast. But what they say that they want to show us how to utilize the fish skin. Because in Belize, we throw it away. And in most of Central America, the fish skin is used to make products. Like you will see this morning, the lady showed me, she made a purse covered with fish skin. Many ornaments can be done with fish skin. So now we recognize that the fish skin has a value. So for today, I will work with these ladies to see if they want to form a cooperative to be able to work together as a team and seek funding for them. This is our income for them as a mother, as a wife. So I'm going to work with them for it to be accomplished.
Okay, the process is 100% natural. We don't use any chromium. We don't use anything that would be harmful for the ocean or for their hands. It's 100% natural. and we do it in an artisan way. We don't need electricity, we don't need industrialization, and it's something they can do in their communities, and there's something they can do without leaving their children unattended and their chores unattended, because you only need 3 hours per week to do the process, and in 2 weeks you're going to have the results that we're going to see later on. The leather that is ready to make any product that you can imagine: wallets, souvenirs, purses, handbags, backpacks, shoes. We even use it for upholstery, and we're even selling it in the US, and people are making wallpaper with it.
The first day, we had to measure it. We place it in a water with, I don't remember the chemical they add in the water, but we had it in the water to soak, and after that, for an hour, and after that we take it out, we remove the scales, and we placed it to dry. The next day, what we did was we dyed it. We dyed it blue, red, whatever color they had available. I think it helped me like build more money. Maybe find people who's interested in the bags that I make out of the leather. And like for Hopkins, I don't want we build a group and continue the work, you know.
While agriculture demands hard labor, its true rewards lie in the work itself, from tending to livestock and harvesting crops to managing beehives. To instill this appreciation in rural youths, the Ministry of Agriculture launched an immersive youth summer camp designed to educate children and inspire future careers in the sector. The 2-week initiative hosted at Georgetown Technical High School brings hands-on agricultural training to students across the Stann Creek district. Here is a look at how the program is shaping young minds.
The agriculture camp is for the kids in Georgetown Village, ages 7 to 17. Agriculture Field Officer Bernadette Cobb explained the inclusivity of the camp, ensuring that every child gets a chance to learn about the industry.
It's actually a 2-1-week program within the Stann Creek district. We had the first week we had it at Henry. Now this second week we're having it here at Georgetown Technical High School. Basically what we're doing is that we're trying to get youths involved in agriculture. When we mean involve them in agriculture is let them have that concept that agriculture is not just about a dirty job, right? We try to get them inclusive, let them know that the activities we do are very important, especially with agriculture, especially because that is very important. We need it for food security, we need them to be sustainable. So we target them at a young age so that they can be able to incorporate whatever activity they're learning in their daily life, especially during the summer days, right?
One camp session focused on bees, a topic the campers were particularly eager to explore.
When we began asking the questions, we saw one picture, and we saw different kind of bees, including wasp hornets. So we said that there are specific species of bees. Who remembers? Raise your hand and then answer the question. 1, the native bee, the Africanized bee, and the solitary bee. There are 3. Bees are divided into 3 categories.
I came from Monday, and I've been learning a lot since that day. So on Monday, we were learning about plants, and we went to the greenhouse and planted tomatoes. And then they gave us some plants to take home. And then on Tuesday we did a lot of stuff, and today we were learning about beekeeping, and I learned a lot that in one bee box they can be up to 80,000 bees.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And that's all we have for you on our newscast for tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Indra Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube pages. Have a great night. Join Miriam Abdul Kawi back here tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you same time on Tuesday. Have a good one.